Hey, it's Allan Dib here, and you're listening to the 360 Entrepreneur with Ian Ilunga.
This is episode 173, and today we talk about the one-page marketing plan. Here we go.
Welcome to the 360 Entrepreneur Podcast, the show for entrepreneurs and small business owners who dream big and want to do bigger. Join some of the world's top entrepreneurs, internet marketers, and best-selling authors as they share their inspiring stories, their struggles, and give actionable tips that will help you build, grow, and promote your online business. Here's your host, Yanni Lunga.
Hey there, how's it going? Yanni Lunga here with a new episode of the 360 Entrepreneur. And yeah, I'm excited, as you can tell from my voice, because today we talk about one thing, and I mean one thing your business really needs. And it doesn't matter what type of business you have. It doesn't matter where you are in your entrepreneurial journey. If you're just starting out, if you have been in business for 2 years or 20, it doesn't matter. You need a marketing plan. And I know marketing plan can sound like an intimidating word, right? It can sound like, oh, okay, Jan, you're really scaring me. That sounds like a lot of word. Don't worry, because in this episode, you're going to get some advice on how you can craft a killer one-page, yeah, that's right, one-page marketing plan. And we're going to do that with Allan Dib, who is a marketing expert, entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, I should say, and the author of the book, The One-Page Marketing Plan. The show notes for today's episode are over at yannilunga.com/episode 173. And make sure to stick out in the end, because Allan has something to say about his book and about how you can get that for free. All right, here's the interview with Allan Dib from successwise.com. Hey everybody, today we are joined by serial entrepreneur, rebellious marketer, technology expert who helps businesses find new and innovative ways to leverage technology and marketing to facilitate rapid business growth. He's the founder of the AWC Best Australian nominated site successwise.com, and he's also the author of a new book called The One-Page Marketing Plan: Get New Customers, Make More Money, and Stand Out from the Crowd. I'm so excited to welcome on the show Allan Dib. Allan, how's it going?
Ian, it's a pleasure to be here.
It's my pleasure too. And you were telling me that you are in Melbourne, Australia, right?
That's exactly right. So,
nice.
Right down here in the Southern Hemisphere.
Right. So we really have a global conversation here. I'm up here north in Helsinki, Finland. You are in Melbourne, Australia. I love that. And thank you really for joining us. And I think the first question I have to ask you, Allan, is I mentioned your book, The One-Page Marketing Plan. And I like the title. I think is very interesting because, I mean, get new customers, make more money, and stand out from the crowd. Those things may sound like things that one needs like a 1,000-page marketing plan to do. But you have chosen the one-page marketing plan. So, Allan, my question is kind of twofold. The first part is if you can tell us a little bit more about the book. And then the second part of the question is, this is especially for those starting out, but also for those who are already been in business for quite some time. Why is it critical to have a marketing plan?
Sure. So look, where the book started is, look, I've been, as you mentioned, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've made a couple of startups, and they've grown very rapidly, and I've exited those. And a large part of the success there was in creating a business plan. And part of a business plan is a marketing plan. It's a section in the business plan. And in my first business, I hired a consultant to help me write the business plan and the marketing plan. And it was a very long document, cost me thousands of dollars to do. Right. And at the end of the day, was just completely useless, just sat in my desk because it was so long and intimidating, had charts and graphs and everything like that. Wasn't really practical for everyday use, if you know what I mean. Right. So when I started coaching my own clients to help them with their marketing, one of the first things I wanted for them to do is to create a marketing plan. And very often it was very intimidating, difficult for them to do, and something that almost never got done. So I wanted to go back and create a process which was super easy for small businesses to create a marketing plan, and a marketing plan that's not just theory and fluff and graphs and all of that, but something super practical that they can implement in their business. And that's basically where the one-page marketing plan was born. So it's a process I've been using with clients for a few years, and I thought now's the time to put it into a book and share it with the rest of the world.
I like it. And, as I was listening to you, Allan, it really reminded me of when I started out, because I also did something similar with a marketing plan that was, I don't even remember how many pages long. And I remember that when I interviewed Melissa Emerson quite a few months ago now, she talked also about the importance not only of having, she talked about a business plan. And she talked about not only that it's important to have one, and as you said, the marketing plan is a part of that, but also to consistently go back and look at it and tweak things here and there. So is that also something, obviously, you recommend everybody who's joining us, not only to create a marketing plan, but also to often go back and take a look at it, revise it if necessary?
Absolutely. And that's the whole point of making the one-page marketing plan. We want it to be a living document that people can update easily on a regular basis. That doesn't have to be something intimidating. And I like your point of encouraging people to create a plan, because if you have a look at any of the things that are kind of high stakes, where there's a lot of money and lives on the line and things like that, you'll see people always try to follow a plan. So, for example, doctors have a treatment plan, airline pilots have a flight plan, soldiers have a military operations plan. So all of those, I mean, how would you like to go on a plane where the pilot just says, don't worry about the flight plan, we'll just fly somewhere.
We'll figure something out as we go.
Exactly. But that's how most small businesses operate. They go, we'll figure it out. We don't need a plan. And really, look, the stakes are often just as high. Like marriages are on the line, businesses are on the line, employees' jobs are on the line, and very often the business owner just says, don't worry, we'll wing it.
Yeah. No, you're so on point, Allan, and I think especially in this day and age where it's so easy to find information online, when we start out a business, especially if maybe we are solopreneurs, we think, well, I'm just going to find what I need, on YouTube or whatever. And I kind of going to figure out things as we go and as I go. And as you said, that's a very risky move. And now I want to dive a bit deeper into the book, because obviously that what we're about to talk about is something that also people can apply as they're listening to us. So if they have pen and paper, or actually, do you have, Allan, is there maybe a tool or something like that you recommend for creating the one-page marketing plan, or is it just a Word document enough?
Yeah, look, what I've got is, if people go to the website one, as in the number 1pmp.com, so that's the resources section for the book, and from there they can basically download a copy of the template for the one-page marketing plan. So it'll be a blank template where you can go in and fill in your one-page marketing plan, and you can literally read along in the book and start filling in the 9 squares that make up the plan. So that's where folks can immediately get that resource. It's 1 as in the number 1, and then P for Peter, M for Mary, P for Peter.com.
Perfect. Thank you, Allan, for mentioning that. And I'll make sure, like always, to link to that, to your site, successwise.com, the book and everything else we cover in the show notes, so that everything is available there. Okay, so in the book, you talk about 3 different phases. And again, I think as I was looking at the content of your book, I thought it was great that you dissected or you split really the topic into the 3 phases: before, during, and after. Because I think that often we focus so much, especially when we're starting out, we focus so much on the during or the after, that then we start a business without a plan, as we said, or without a solid foundation really. So can you take a moment, Allan, to tell us more about what the before, the during, and after phases are? I mean, I know to talk about each phase, we could be here the entire day, but still.
Oh, most definitely. Look, I'll give you the short rundown, and I have to give credit to Dean Jackson, who was the first person I heard about this, and I credit him in the book, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, if we look at our marketing and we split it up into three distinct phases, so if we split it up into the before, during, and after, and here's what I mean. In the before phase, that's when we're dealing with prospects, right? And prospects are people who don't really know who you are. And the whole goal of that phase is to get to know them, is for them to get to know you and indicate interest. It's basically when we're doing, let's say, pay-per-click advertising to people who just don't know you, or maybe we're putting an ad in a newspaper or something like that. So that's the before phase. And that's what a lot of business owners focus on. They try to get new business in the door and new inquiries and things like that. They focus on the before phase. Then we have the during phase. During is basically when they're a lead. So maybe they've indicated interest, they've opted into your funnel or opted into your website or called your office and asked for more information. And at that stage, we sort of categorize them as a lead. And it's before they've paid you any money or you've closed them or anything like that. And the whole goal of this phase is to get them to like you and buy from you for the first time. So basically create enough trust where they become a customer and buy from you for the first time. Then we have the after phase. And in my opinion, this is one of the most neglected phases in the marketing process, and it's one of the most profitable. And that's really when someone's already a customer. We basically get them to trust you and buy from you regularly and refer new people to you. Because very often, like as entrepreneurs, we're focused on, okay, let's get a new customer. Let's close more customers. Let's increase our conversion rate. But very often there's a gold mine in your list and there's a gold mine in your existing customer base. And if you just build and deepen that relationship, it is worth a gold mine there. It's massive, massive untapped value in most businesses.
I mean, Allan, I couldn't agree more with what you just said, especially the last part, because if we think about it, when somebody decides to buy from us, we have already established what is called the know, like, and trust factor. So in a sense, like you said, it's easier to sell to a repeated customer or to somebody who is already a customer of ours rather than be looking for new clients out there. And do you have any advice in terms of something we can do to maybe, kind of double down on the after phase? Something comes to mind?
Absolutely. So in the after phase, what we want to do, we don't want to think just transactionally. We don't want to think about clients as just dollars or whatever. We want we want to see, okay, how can we deepen the relationship? How can we create raving fans? And the reason we want to do that is because when we create raving fans, it just makes it so much easier when you're releasing a new product, when you're like you think of Apple, right? People pre-order their new products without ever seeing them, without ever testing them, or whatever, because they've created a tribe of raving fans, and that's exactly what we want to do in our business. So you do that basically by deepening your relationship with prospects, by just wowing them with the delivery of your products and services, and also by having a dedicated system for referrals. So, a lot of people just sit and wait for referrals, but there's ways to stimulate referrals and orchestrate them. And we're going to talk about that in chapter 9 of the book.
Okay, so you said, some people make the mistake of sitting and wait for referrals to come in, but it's actually, as you said, is something you talk about in the book. And I think it ties also into an article you written where you talk about why joint ventures and affiliate marketing should be part of a marketing strategy. So those are things that we can do, obviously, with our peers, so with other entrepreneurs, other marketers, other authors, but it's something we could even do with some of our customers if their audience is the target audience we're trying to reach, right?
Most definitely.
Okay, so do you have any tips on that go toward that direction? I mean, I mentioned you have written an article, so I'll link to that. Do you have any tips that come to mind when it comes to referral, affiliate marketing, and working on really building the relationship to turn people into super fans?
Sure.
Right.
Look, a strategy I really love is if you're looking for a certain type of referral, it is to be very, very specific about what you want. Mm-hmm. And then when you're asking for that person for the referral, to give them something of value to give to the person that you want as a referral. So let me give you an example. So let's say you sell pet food, right? Mm-hmm. And if you want basically pet owners to be referred to you maybe by the local vet or something like that, rather than just saying to the local vet, hey man, just send me some referrals if you can, that sounds like you're asking for a favor, right? So, and we don't want to be, positioning ourselves as begging for business and asking for favors and all of that. What we want to do is position ourselves as giving value and give a reason for that person to refer. So, for example, if you want the vet to refer you pet owners to buy dog food from you, a really good strategy would be, imagine you create a $100 voucher that the vet can give his client. Now, it's different because the vet is actually giving something of value to his client and it makes him look good, right? So rather than him just doing you a favor, he's actually looking good in front of his client. Now, his client's got a $100 voucher and it just feels like wasting money to just throw that away, right? So they will likely come into your store and redeem it at least once, right? So now you've got a very low cost of customer acquisition and you've got the ability to wow this customer and build a relationship with them. And I mean, the nominal value of that voucher might be $100, but your wholesale cost would be much less. I mean, if you're buying the pet food at wholesale, then it'll be much less. And so you've basically given something of nominally $100 value, but your cost is much lower. And it's a way of getting referrals that basically changes the positioning. It's you helping someone look good by getting them to give something of value to come to you. So it's an advanced strategy, but it works really, really well.
Yeah, so I mean, as you said, Allan, it's really a win-win-win situation, right? Because it's a win for the person who makes the referral, is a win for the prospect, and obviously it's a win for us. And I think it's relatively easy to apply. I mean, when we think about the logistics, I think it's relatively easy to apply, especially if somebody has a digital product. I mean, it's so easy to create coupon codes, vouchers, free trials if somebody has like a software or a membership site or something like that. And it's interesting, Allan, that in your answer, you used the word wow, because we had an episode in the past with John Dwyer where we talked about the power of wow marketing. And there we touched on some of the things you just shared with us. So the power of getting people through the door by wowing them. And then not only that is great because they become customers, but also because then we're gonna, I mean, once they are on our list, for example, then we kind of have the right to get in touch with them on a regular basis so we can really work on turning them into super fans. And there is another article of yours, Allan, that I really made a note to ask you about, because I thought that already the title, it really made me laugh, but it was so on point into really for this conversation, where you talked about what you call the stupid advertising strategies. And I think actually there were at least a couple of those points that I thought that many entrepreneurs make, again, because of what we were saying earlier, that today with the internet, there is this mentality of, well, I'm just going to find everything online. And then we have so many new shiny objects coming out. So instead of focusing, we just run after the next thing. So can you share with us, Allan, what are these stupid advertising strategies and what are the mistakes we should avoid making?
Sure. Look, I'll give you three of them, and they're the ones I outline in my article. But basically, stupid strategy number one is not tracking return on investment, and especially for digital marketers, this is such a sin because you can so easily track every dollar that you spend in pay-per-click or SEO and track that to a return on investment based on your sales and things like that. There's so much in terms of analytics and so many ways to track where your digital dollars are going and what your conversions are and all of that. So that's number one, basically not tracking your return on investment. Number two is going too broad. So often I'll ask a business owner, okay, so tell me about your target market. Who's your product for? And they say, oh, it's for everyone, because they they just want to, get more business and all of that. And the problem with that, I mean, that's great. I mean, they're trying to get their product out there and they're excited about it. But when you say your product is for everyone, really, it's for no one. The whole point of your advertising and the whole point of everything that you do in terms of spending money on marketing media, you want the people reading it to say, oh, wow, that's for me. So if you're a photographer, rather than saying, we do portraits, we do wedding photography, we do commercial photography, we do all of this, if you want, that basically you're just listing every possible available service. But what you want people to do is say, oh, wow, that's for me. So if someone is a bride shopping for a photographer for her wedding day, right, and she sees that ad and then she sees another ad saying a wedding photographer specializing in, creating memories for your special day, I mean, which one is she more likely to say, oh, that's for me?
Right.
So this is where we just don't want to go too broad. We want our prospect to say, that's for me. So you need to niche it down. And the third stupid strategy that I say is when you're a small business is basically focusing on branding. And it's funny, so often small businesses, they focus on branding because basically, number one, very often they just don't know what they're doing and they think that's what's going to help them. But very often they'll look at big competitors in their industry, maybe $100 million, $1 billion businesses, and they see them doing brand kind of advertising. And when I say brand advertising, I mean it's like the mass media kind of advertising where you have your logo and your name, kind of like Apple or Nike or Coca-Cola or something like that. And they think, okay, well, this is a successful competitor, so how about I do the same strategy? Whereas for a small business, this is the best way to basically lose all of your advertising dollars. Very, very bad strategy.
I love it. Thank you, Allan, for sharing the stupid advertising strategy. So you heard it. Don't focus too much on your competition trying to do branding advertising. Don't be too broad with your offers, with your mindset also, and then make sure that you track everything. And you heard me saying this before in here on the show. In this case, make sure that you keep track of everything you do when it comes to digital advertising, return on investment. And Allan, I mentioned your site, successwise.com. And if people want to reach out to you, maybe they have some questions or they simply want to say thank you, what is the best way to do that? I know that you're also on social media. Is there a particular platform or...
The best way is if they jump onto successwise.com and enter their email address, opt into our Inner Circle list. So once they're on the list, that you'll be getting emails regularly from me. And they're not spam or anything like that. They're basically value building emails, articles, and things like that. And to any one of the emails we send, I reply personally. So if you have a question or something, just hit reply to one of the emails, and I'm more than happy to engage personally with any of our Inner Circle subscribers.
Perfect. So you heard it. If you want to take the next step to this conversation, if you want to reach out to Allan, you can go to successwise.com, sign up for the Inner Circle community, and then you're going to be able to not only to get in touch with Allan, but also to get valuable content on a regular basis. And Allan, early on, you told me that the one-page marketing plan, before the interview, we were talking and you said that soon is going to be available also in audiobook version, right?
That's exactly right. So by the time this podcast goes live, the book should be available on audible.com, so as an audiobook. So if you're not into reading much, or if you drive a lot, then that's a perfect way to get the book. So we've just finished production of the book, and we're just waiting for approval by Audible to go live. So that's very exciting.
Nice. Congrats, Allan. And as you well said, I mean, there are a couple of different ways to learn from you. I mentioned successwise.com. There is the paperback version of the book, the Kindle version of the book, so the one-page marketing plan, get new customers, make more money, and stand out from the crowd. And then, as you said, there's also the audiobook version that probably by the time you are listening to this is already available on audible.com. And if you've been with me in the past, you have heard it. Audible is one of the sponsors of the podcast. So you can go to the show notes page. You're going to find there the link to Audible, and you can get the audiobook, in this case, the one-page marketing plan, for free, plus an entire month for free to Audible's catalog of almost 200,000 audiobooks that you can listen to. So all that in the show notes. And Allan, to wrap it up, I want to ask you, do you have any more golden nuggets, any more stupid mistakes or anything like that you would like to touch on?
I think we've done enough on stupid mistakes, but if there's one thing I would tell listeners is basically concentrate on becoming a good marketer in your business. Don't worry about the latest bright, shiny object. Don't worry about, the latest WordPress plugins and all of that sort of stuff. Focus on the strategic stuff, because if you get 10% better at WordPress or 10% better at SEO or whatever, it's not going to make a major difference in your business. But if you get 5-10% better as a marketer, it can have a massive effect on your business. It can have an exponential effect. So that's what I tell people. Focus on the things that will have exponential improvement in your business rather than these small incremental things.
Love it. So, Allan, what would be, if we were to open the Allan Dib's dictionary and we look for the word good marketer, what would the definition be?
Look, the definition basically, as we discussed at the start, is someone who can help people to know you, like you, and trust you. So that's the whole name of the game. Know you, like you, trust you. That's what marketing is really all about.
Boom, there we have it. So you heard all the advice, you heard some of the things you can do to take the next step for this conversation. Now it's all up to you. Are you ready to take action? I hope so. Allan, thank you so much for being here on the 360 Entrepreneur podcast and telling us more about your business, about stupid advertising mistakes, and really just to share your knowledge with us. I really, really appreciate it.
Ian, genuine pleasure to be on the show.
And we are back. Allan, thank you so much for this fun and valuable conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time to share your expertise and book with us here on the podcast. And you heard it. The show notes for today's episode are over at janilunga.com/episode 173. And there you find the links to everything, including the site where you can get the resources related to Allan's book, the one-page marketing plan, and the link to Audible. Audible is the sponsor of this podcast, one of the sponsors of the podcast, and it allows you to get access to audiobooks of any kind. And Allan said it. When we recorded the interview, his audiobook was yet to be released, but guess what? The one-page marketing plan by Allan Dib audiobook version is here, and you can get it completely for free. Just go over to the show notes again, janilunga.com/episode 173, and you're gonna find there the link to grab your free copy of Allan Dib's audiobook. This is it for today. Thank you for making me part of your day, for learning with me, for being with me week after week, month after month. I really, really am the most fortunate person in the world to have you on my corner. Have a great day. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the 360 Entrepreneur Podcast. For more tips and tools, head over to www.janilunga.com.